Hi everyone, this is the LEGO Minifigure Vending Machine. It's a LEGO Ideas set, and here's the set information. And the most interesting thing about this set to me is the two classic space astronauts that we're getting in teal, which is my favorite color, as well as in gold. And this is in addition to the light blue classic space torso that we got on the same day in early June. So this is the first time in LEGO history that we're getting three classic space colors all at the same time. But what else does this set have to offer besides just these minifigure parts, which presumably will be available in other sets soon? Well, there's many minifigures in total, as we can see right here on the top of the box, and they look really, really cute all together. Lots of cool minifigures right there from all sorts of different LEGO themes, not just space. We see here Fabuland and Castle, just to name a few, Paradisa as well. And these two here are the fan designer and LEGO designer of the set, so very interesting to see. And we're already at 66 LEGO Ideas sets. Alright, enough talking about the box. Well, we'll look at it from the back. Not too much to see here, basically just a different view of how this thing is going to work. And I really wish that the box art would be more like this and less like this black box, but I'm beating a dead horse at this point. And here are the set dimensions if you're interested. Alright, let's open the box and see what's inside. So as usual, the box is not quite full. It's maybe 2/3 full, so it could have been a bit smaller. LEGO likes to make the boxes larger for marketing purposes. In this set we got 11 numbered bags from 1 to 11. Here are the first 4. Here are the next 4. You can see that most of these bags contain lots of red pieces. And here's the teal of the classic spaceman, so that's quite nice to see. And here are the last 3. Note that the bags are not all the same size, so some of the building phases will take longer than others. And also do not mix bags 6 and 9. This underlined thing here should tell you which bag you're working with, so please pay attention to that. In this set we also get 2 of these paper bags, so it's rare that we get paper bags in North America at the time of this recording in June 2025. But we do get these paper bags with presumably those large plastic pieces that are shown here on the first page of the instruction manual, which I will not be using by the way, but let's just take a quick look as usual on the first few pages. Yes, there's a LEGO Builder app to see the thing in 3D. Then some information about the fan designer, and he gets a minifigure of him in the set. You can read this information on lego.com if you want, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it here, but I do appreciate that they tell us something about the fan designer. Small moments of joy, so basically just marketing of the set and comparing it with a real bubblegum machine, presumably, and collect all 16. Well, luckily here, unlike the collectible minifigure series, you don't have to feel the bags or the boxes that need to be scanned for getting these minifigures. Are all included in the set, so if you buy one copy of the set, you will get each of these minifigures exactly as shown here, unless there are any mistakes, in which case call LEGO customer service. More stuff here from the LEGO Ideas team, and the interesting thing for me here is the mechanism. This is going to be useful for me later when I try to figure out how to build this without looking at the instructions step by step, looking only at the building phases. And here's what I think the box art should have looked like instead of just using the boring black box. And then they tell you use a brick separator. This is the traditional way to use it. They always include this, but now they're also saying you could use the brick separator to open these things if they get too tight, so that's pretty interesting. And with that, we'll put the instructions aside, and we'll start with bag 1. Oh, and one more good thing about this set, there is no sticker sheet. I'm very, very happy about that. Here's a closer look at the balls that we'll be using for much of this set. So one of them is translucent, so not completely transparent, but you can still kind of see what the minifigure inside is going to look like, but they might be blurry if you look at them from any sort of distance. So that is pretty interesting to see, and it's an interesting choice. I think they're doing this to preserve the mystery of the collectible minifigures while still telling you that if you really want to know what's inside, you can figure it out. But then of course you can put 2 of these transparent ones together and 2 of these non-transparent ones together if you want to have some of them be secret, some of them not. And I hope that LEGO releases this piece in complete transparent colors in the near future so that you can have the option of making it fully transparent. And usually I do build my minifigures as I open each bag, but here what I'm noticing is that we're supposed to put the minifigure pieces inside unbuilt and then build them later at the end. So I think that's what I'll do, just to increase the fun. So yeah, you could comfortably fit the minifigure here plus some accessories. This is pretty fun. I wonder how the minifigures themselves feel about this though. Bag 1 gives us the brick separator, the fan designer as a minifigure in this ball, as well as the base of the minifig vending machine. We can see here some internal references to certain things that are related to the fan designer or the LEGO designer or both of these colors right here. So yeah, and this is what this thing is going to look like from the bottom. I'll only show you this once, because when I build the whole thing I don't want to rotate it to this particular angle, but there's not really that much to see here. I just can't wait to build the teal classic spaceman and compare him to the light blue one and later the gold one. This is just so amazing to me. Just a few days ago these did not exist, and now they do. Bag 2 gives us the aforementioned Teal space astronaut, as well as a female pirate, and we put the minifigures here as usual. And we also get some extra accessories for the pirate, so that's pretty cool. And we build up the base of the prize machine itself a little bit more. I really like the smooth pieces used all around. This is very premium. It feels very nice to put this together, and I just love the subtle curves. So far, so good. We're off to a great start. Oh, such a beautiful Kraken shield piece. This is amazing. And I like the Kraken torso as well. Bag 3 gives us the Kraken Knight minifigure, again in this usual ball, as well as these things here that create the dispensing mechanism. I really like the way that they did the clip-wise construction here to have this at a particular angle. This is genius in my opinion, the way that this was done. Very impressive. It took a few tries for me to figure out how to put everything in the right order, but this looks really cool. And yeah, the balls are going to come right in just like this. So it's very exciting to me. And then basically building from the bottom up, we can add all these remaining components and kind of try to imagine how they're going to be used in the final product. Yeah, everything clicks into place exactly the way it should. This is very satisfying. Just look at this thing, it's so smooth. In bag 4 we get the gold classic space torso, and it's printed with gold on gold. This is deluxe. Yeah, I've wanted to see this for a very long time. Even though teal is my favorite color, this has a certain luxury, a certain elegance associated with it. Yeah, this is LEGO history right here. Bag 4 gives us the classic space astronaut in gold, as well as the female Paradisa minifigure along with a pet parrot. And we build up more of the base here. We're starting to get up to the mid-level. So basically the balls are going to come in through here, all the way down and get dispensed. So I love the way that this whole smooth thing is built very nicely. We also add some stuff here at the entrance where we're going to put stuff on the side in a future building phase. So before I put everything together, I just want to point out that so far we built this very interesting ratcheting mechanism, mostly with LEGO Technic. And basically this piece right here, connected with this rubber piece, allows this to rotate in only one direction. So we can spin it this way, not the other way. How are you going to use this? We'll find out really soon. And also while I'm here, I really do like the tiling of this component right here. We're never going to see this once this is built, but it's nice while we're building it to see such a smooth surface like that with nice color matching. Bag 5 gives us a Griffin Knight minifigure, this one right here, and builds this subassembly which has this ratcheting mechanism. It's very fun to play with, and this was so difficult to figure out how to put together without the instructions. I had to basically reverse engineer it, but it was worth it, and I learned a lot when putting it together, and it's really quite something. I hope I built it correctly, but we'll only be able to find that out in the next building phases, and this I believe gets attached right here. So we see here the mechanism is starting to take shape. Basically, this thing cannot turn this way because of the ratchet, so it will never go this way. But to make it turn this way clockwise, it's also not going to turn because this blue piece is blocking the white piece. It won't rotate unless we push it away somehow. So inserting the coin should push this piece forward, squishing it against this rubber piece, allowing this thing to rotate, and then this is going to release a minifigure ball from the collection. At least that's how I think it works. Pretty smart. Bag 6 gives us 2 minifigures, the Fabuland bear, as well as the female Kraken warrior. And you get to complete the ratcheting mechanism, and now it no longer works unless we insert a coin or something similar to this slot, so it's completely locked in place. So very interesting mechanism. And at this point in time, I don't know what this thing does, but I'm thinking about that right now, and I'll try to figure it out before I build the whole thing. Bag 7 gives us the Paradisa minifigure, the male version of that, as well as this coin that can be used to finally operate the mechanism. So when we insert the coin, it works and then it stops right after, so that's very, very nice to see. We build also this turntable that spins and this part on top, and I noticed that this whole assembly is easier to assemble separately, so it's easier to press down on the plates, and then you put it all here, all in one shot. So it's a really smooth mechanism, a lot smoother than I was expecting. You just put this 10-cent or maybe $10 coin in here, and it's smooth as butter. That's amazing. And then it just stops turning right after. So very educational, very useful. And this is probably a hint for the future price of LEGO minifigures being $10. Bag 8 gives us these 3 identical panels that are going to be placed on the side of the minifig vending machine like this. And we also get one more Teal astronaut, as well as a female griffin. Bag 9 gives us a male pirate, as well as finishing up the front part of the side coverings, specifically these two. And we also build a bit more on top here. These pieces here are attached with clips to make it very easy to line them together. It's a really nice effect that they have done here, and this is just to help the balls get aligned as they are dispensed. And finally we add this piece, and then we can move on to bag 10. And it's fascinating to me that we got all the way to bag 10 when we're still building the bottom half of this thing. So we spent 9 bags just doing this, plus all the minifigures of course, and then it's going to grow very rapidly from here on out. At this point in time, we get to open the only paper bags in the set, at least if you're in North America. These are going to contain these large panel pieces, which hopefully are not going to be scratched or scuffed at all. Yeah, this is a beautiful piece. We got 8 of them in the set. Yeah, this is awesome. Just think of all the things that you could do with these pieces. Bag 10 gives us the Fabuland elephant, as well as building the top half of the vending machine with these very amazing pieces in addition to the pieces from the bag. And here's what it looks like from the top. So very interesting stuff. We also built this shaft here with some soft rubbery pieces to prevent the balls from being damaged. Yeah, this looks quite good, and we're almost done with the build. Bag 11 gives us the LEGO Ideas minifigure, as well as the roof or cover for the minifig vending machine. And with this, we're done with the build. Also, we get a spare coin, which is pretty useful, I guess. And now we can go to the fun part of actually putting all these minifigures from all the previous bags into the machine. And just before I do that, here's what this looks like from the bottom, just for the sake of completeness. It doesn't look like anything super special, and it's going to fit basically on here without having any studs attached, so it's easy to remove if you want to fill it up. So I think that does make sense in this particular context. But you can add studs if you want. So just drop the minifigures in this thing. And yes, of course, the minifigures do fit inside, and there is room to spare to add even more balls if you have them, sold separately, of course. Or you could add other objects in here that have the same rough size as these things, just make sure that they're not going to scratch these plastic walls too much. So that's just something to keep in mind, especially if you want to keep this more for display long term. Yeah, just look at that. This looks amazing. I love the way this looks, and as a display model, it's pretty good. I do wish that this was drum lacquered silver and not the regular light bluish gray, so I think LEGO did cheap out a bit here. If this whole thing was silver, like all the gray was turned into silver, that would be marvelous. But I would say at a minimum they should have done this, or at least these pieces here, the tiles in drum lacquered silver at the very least. Other than that, it feels like a very premium product. When you lift it, you really feel the weight of the thing, and I actually spent the majority of the time building the mechanism, which in the end is well hidden, as it should be. So I'm very happy about this build. I'm very happy about the final result. Actually, let's see it in action. So we'll take a coin, we'll put it in, and turn the crank, and to get the coin back, and a minifigure. That's nice. And let's try to get another minifigure. Nope, we can't. We cannot turn this either way. It's locked. We need to have the coin. So we put the coin in, we twist it, and it works. And we got the Teal spaceman. This is amazing. I'm so happy with this. And now we can basically keep putting in this coin right here. Oh, sometimes it gets a little bit stuck, so let's push it in. I wonder what happens if you put in 2 coins. We got a minifigure, and this one is jammed, so push it in. Then we got another one. Let's see what happens if we keep pushing minifigures down the chute. I should have 4 in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And yeah, the minifigures are queued in here, so if you do multiple coin spins, it's still going to work. This is amazing design by the fan designer and then by the LEGO designer that took the idea, which was a great idea, and had a very wonderful execution of it. So this is magical to me, and I think adults are going to appreciate this, but also kids. Kids were a little bit older, so 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds are probably just take this thing and destroy it, and you're going to regret showing it to them unless they're very mature at their age. But older kids, I think around ages 10 or thereabouts, they will be able to appreciate this. At least if they like LEGO and offline stuff. Oh, we got another classic space astronaut in Teal. So speaking of which, let's open up all these balls and look at the minifigures in detail, because that's really what this set is all about. And so here I have one of the balls, which I can open directly like this. There's a bit of a groove for you to use your fingernails, or if you prefer, you can also use the brick separator and basically wedge it in between to open the 2 halves of the ball. In this case, we have the Fabuland elephant. That's one of the minifigures here. And basically we have all these parts that we can just dump onto the table or wherever you're building your set, and then you can put the minifigure together. Just watch out for pieces that may roll away, such as this head. You can also rearrange the ball pieces in this way, so you can have like blue and blue, or yellow and yellow, or yellow and blue, for a totally opaque experience when you don't want people to know what minifigures you're going to get. So that's one option. You can also create some fully transparent or fully translucent balls like this and put the minifigure pieces inside, and this is what it would look like for Mr. Oz. I'm using him as an example. Of course, he is sold separately, but you get the idea, and I do think that both of these are a nice look and a way for you to vary things and not just have things exactly as the instructions dictate. And I was not planning to restart the filming right now. I was basically building these minifigures off camera and getting the balls out of the machine when suddenly this thing jammed. So I thought it would be useful to record a video of this, and I'm going to try to fix this live. So I have a bunch of balls I need to take out. So is this going to solve the problem? Looks like it's ratcheted, and it looks like the coin is stuck there. Actually, let me put this coin in. Looks like it will not fit. And in the end, I was able to resolve this by just forcing this crank and like pushing it until it went back into position. And now at this point, the mechanism is restored. I can put in coin and rotate it, and it is back to normal. So yeah, that's a little bit unexpected, but at least it was able to be resolved relatively easily. In this set, we get a total of 16 minifigures, and the first 2 that we're going to be looking at are the designers, both the LEGO designer and the fan designer of the set. And you're supposed to be holding this LEGO build, although the jumper plate falls off very easily, as well as this LEGO roller skate piece meant to represent some other LEGO set. I'm not quite sure which one. As for the fan designer, he's obviously holding a miniature version of the set itself, the Minifigure Vending machine, and both these figures are nice to get. They're pretty simple. The LEGO Ideas torso here is new and exclusive, so that's very welcome. And all the other pieces, we have seen them before, and they are pretty generic. And the fan designer in particular reminds me of this very similar minifigure from the bookshop back in 2020. The torso and the legs are identical, so that's pretty interesting to see. And both of these minifigures have alternative expressions, and that is also nice to see as well. Next up we have the classic space astronauts, and these are the highlight of the set for me as a big fan of LEGO Space. Oh, and this guy is supposed to get a wrench as an accessory, so very classic, very wonderful, very iconic. I just love these minifigures so much. It's been such a long time that I've wanted to get a teal classic spaceman, and I'm not going to complain about the gold spaceman, so they basically chose first and second place in the vote that happened last year or the year before, and I'm just so happy to get these classic space figures. And not only that, we got 2 of each. So we got 2 of this one, 2 of this one, 4 in total. And on top of that, on the same day that this set released, we also got this LEGO Dreams figure, Mr. Oz, who has a bright light blue classic space torso. So having all 3 of them side by side, that looks really, really nice. And I can't wait till they release the air tanks and helmet in this color as well. Oh, and just for the sake of completeness, the other 2 minifigures have slightly different accessories, but they're very simple, so nothing major to write home about. We also get 2 pirate minifigures, 1 female, 1 male, and both of them are very nice to get. I like the female one a bit more just because of the gold epaulettes and the printed map tile, as well as the pistol. with the male pirate is nice as well, although both of them are lacking any leg printing, and that's true for almost all the minifigures in this set. And only the female pirate has an alternative expression. We also get these medieval figures, specifically a Kraken Knight and a medieval knight. And these are very nice to get as well. Very nice printing on the torsos and the shields, printing on the back as well with this metallic silverish color that reflects in the light. So that is very awesome to see. Both of them get swords, but the swords are not identical between the two, which adds to the realism. And I like the fact that the legs here are printed. These are some of the few minifigures in the set that have leg printing, and the printing quality is very good, continuing from the torsos. So very, very nice to get. And yeah, I definitely have no complaints about these figures. And in fact, we get 2 of each. So we get 2 of this one, 2 of this one, with the only difference being the face print. This is 1 female and 1 male, and then it's the other way around for the other 2. And of course, you can swap the pieces around if you want and make 2 female Krakens or 2 male Griffins or whatever else you want to do with the pieces available in the set, or your own pieces. But I do respect the fact that LEGO is trying to respect gender balance, gender parity in the set, so there's an equivalent number of female and male faces, and you can do whatever you want with those pieces. The next 2 figures are from the Fabuland theme, and they're costume fans, so not the original Fabuland figures, but something that's reminiscent of them. And the most interesting pieces here are the torsos, as well as the pieces here covering the heads, so the head gear pieces, so to speak. And if you don't like this arrangement, which I've seen different comments on online, you could simply remove this head and replace it with something from Animal Crossing, a licensed LEGO theme. So LEGO officially cannot do this. They cannot recommend that you do this in their official documents, but of course when you buy the pieces, when you buy the sets, you can do whatever you want. So this looks very cute to me, and very appropriate, and very reminiscent of Fabuland. But LEGO cannot officially do this because this is a licensed character. They have to pay a license to Animal Crossing in order to use it. So I do understand why LEGO could not do that. But hey, they gave us the pieces, and now we can do whatever we want with those pieces. So this is a perfectly fine arrangement. And this particular piece, you can get it in a poly bag that is often 50% off at Walmart and other retailers. So I got this for like $3 Canadian, so not bad at all. And just for the sake of completeness, the female minifigure has a hearing aid. Finally, we get the Paradisa minifigures, 1 female, 1 male, and they're interesting characters to get. The torsos and legs are identical for both, which I think is a bit lazy, but you can also use that as representing gender equality if you want. The female minifigure has an alternative expression, and here's what that looks like framed by the hairpiece. And the 92 on the back represents the year that this theme was originally launched, way back in 1992. I have seen a lot of praise and a lot of disdain and complaints about this particular minifigure online for various reasons. I'm not the biggest fan of this particular choice of pieces put together in this way, but because this is LEGO, you can very easily swap these pieces around and make this minifigure more to your liking. Of the accessories here, the interesting one here is the parrot, which is dual molded between the blue and yellow, and the mixing does lead to a bit of green in the middle. And every single one of these parrots is unique because no 2 of them are identical according to the way that LEGO molds them. So when you buy this set, you're gonna have a slightly different parrot than everyone else. We've seen this parrot for quite a while now. I remember it was in the 2017 Assembly Square. It might have been available before that as well, but it's nice to see that this parrot continues to exist in the LEGO inventory. And if I had to rank the minifigures in order, I'd rank them with this being number 1, the classic teal space astronaut, followed by the gold one, then the knights, the Kraken, and the Griffin, then the designers, specifically because I like the torso here, I like the minifig prize machine here done here in micro scale, then I like the Fabuland figures, the pirates, and finally Paradisa. Not to say that these are bad, but I just prefer all the others a lot more. So this is a very nice selection of minifigures to get in this set, and of course, these 4 right here are duplicated with minor variations, so you get 16 in total. And just to be perfectly clear, this platform where the minifigures are displayed right now is not included in this set, it's included in a different set that I'll talk about later. But before we do that, let's take a look at the machine itself. I did talk about various aspects of the machine as we were doing the build, but now I do want to give an overview of the build itself because this set is not just a minifigure pack, we also get all these pieces and all this mechanism that comes along with it. So first of all, the roof, which is fairly simple, that gets the job done and it closes here without any studs. You just place it here on top, and if you hold this thing upside down, this will come off. So if you're going to display this upside down, don't. Or if you insist on doing that, then modify the set to have some plates here to hold onto the thing. But by default, this is not held by anything, which is fine in this particular case. You got these new pieces in transparent clear, these large curved pieces, and they're very nice to get. You got 8 of them in total in the set. So that's quite awesome. And we see here a bit of the mechanism, the upper parts of it, and I talked about this during the build. And we see just a little bit of the interior mechanism after the thing is done. We don't really see all the details unless we disassemble the set. And since you have seen the live build, hopefully you do understand the mechanism. I'm not going to take the thing apart to show it to you again, so rewind the video. If you skip over the build part of the video, go back and it will tell you how this thing is built. And then you will understand that when we put a coin in here, it's going to push on a piece that is by default sticking out just a little bit and blocking the thing from turning. When we put that coin in, it's going to push that piece back, allowing this rotation for only 1 rotation, and then the coin is going to exit, and then the ratchet is going to be activated again, and there's another ratchet mechanism to prevent the rotation in the opposite direction no matter what. So whether you have a coin or not, you will never be able to rotate the crank this way, only this way, and that's when you put the coin in. And the coin is just 2 pieces, by the way. This printed piece, which is printed very nicely, and nothing on the other side. I wish it was printed on both sides, maybe with 2 different prints, like a king or queen or other item here, just to give it more of a personality and something to be used by LEGO minifigures. You can also think of this as a cake if you want, because it's about that size, but that's not a big deal. So the coins here are perfectly fine. It might be a bit small for adult hands, but kids are going to really enjoy them. So I do think that for older kids, they're going to appreciate this set. They're going to appreciate playing with it and extracting the minifigures. But for very young kids who don't appreciate these things, I give you a warning, don't give this set to them because it's just going to destroy the whole thing and you have to rebuild it and spend a lot of time searching for the missing pieces and so on. So yeah, it's a very nice mechanism, but it's only for the people who know how to appreciate such things. And this could also be the adults in your life, people who have not connected with LEGO in a while. You show them this machine and you tell them, hey, put this coin in and I'll let you keep whichever minifigure comes out. That can be a really great way to get your friends back into LEGO. So that's pretty cool. In terms of aesthetics, I think the machine is superb, with the exception of this area right here where we wish they used the drum lacquered silver instead of just the standard gray, because there are other manufacturers that have released cheaper sets than this one. They're completely using silver and printed silver at that. So I do hope that LEGO takes note from the competition and finds ways to produce these pieces in more accurate colors at a reasonable price without tripling the price that we're paying for this, because this is already very expensive. But at least you do get something for the amount that you pay. You spend a lot of time building just this first part and you say, oh, there's no way this thing is worth 180 US or 220 Canadian, but then you start to build this and you fill it up with the minifigures and you're like, oh, there's actually a lot more here than meets the eye. Here's a comparison with the LEGO Creator Expert Bookshop from 2020. This is a half modular building and it's roughly the same footprint as the vending machine. You can see it's roughly the same height, and in terms of depth, this one is a bit deeper in terms of the base plates, but in terms of the actual dimensions of the thing, it's not a very big difference between the two. In terms of price, back when this was released, it was released in a 2-pack, so you got this building plus another building for $200 Canadian, and later the price was bumped up to 250 Canadian. This is 220, so this does feel a bit pricey for the amount of stuff that you get versus a modular building, especially one from a few years ago. But then you get a lot more minifigures with this one. You get the whole mechanism, so this whole thing is quite full in this bottom half, whereas for the modular buildings, they're mostly empty on the inside. Yes, they do have some accessories and some furniture and stuff, but it's mostly hollow, just a few pieces here and there, relatively speaking. This is here, it's very part dense. And if you're wondering if this is modular compatible, well, the short answer is yes. You just put this on a base plate, and you add these Technic pins if you really care about them, and then yes, you can integrate this into your LEGO City. Does this make sense? Well, it depends on you and your minifigures and what they believe, because us humans, we're not going to put ourselves into balls like this and release ourselves from a giant vending machine, but obviously LEGO minifigures are different, so they might actually enjoy the experience. And another set I wanted to use as a comparison is this tramway set from 2024, which is still available on store shelves as of the time of this recording. And I just thought that the two made sense together because they both use a lot of red and quite a bit of transparent pieces as well, and a little bit of black. So in terms of color scheme, these two sets match quite nicely. And the teal here might be a secret reference to the Teal astronaut. I don't know if that was intentional or if it was purely coincidental, but it's nice to see the colors being used in the same way. So I could see a LEGO City where you have this bookshop, you have this thing that's maybe a museum or an attraction or just how LEGO minifigures are made kind of thing, and you have like this train that links the two somehow. So I could see that being some interesting non-orthodox LEGO City. And this is the same set where I got this train platform, so these minifigures fit well on that platform. And I do think that in terms of overall value, it is there with this set, and I realize that might be controversial to say because a lot of people are saying that this set is overpriced and you should wait for a discount to get it. I'm not going to say that those people are entirely wrong. If you buy the set on day one, or you buy it right now, and especially if you get a good gifted purchase, as LEGO is certain to release those from time to time, I do think that this set is worth it because you get all these cool minifigures, plus this really cool mechanism, and I do not regret buying this on day one. Yes, it was a bit expensive at $220 Canadian, or if you're in Europe, it's 170 euros, or 180 if you're in the US. Yes, that is a bit of an asking price, but you do get what you pay for, in my opinion. You get some very nice minifigures, these large pieces, you get this mechanism, and I learned something when building this set, following that mechanism and just figuring out how to build Bag 5 without the instructions. You do get a bunch of extra pieces in the set. I did not show them before, but these are nothing to write home about except maybe for this long tube piece. But then you also get these accessories for the minifigures. So in addition to the official accessories that are shown in the part list, you get all these other accessories. So you get a palette, you get a whip, you get this sword, lots of cool stuff. So yeah, all in all, I'm very happy with this set. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to like and subscribe for more amazing videos coming your way very soon. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.